If your webinars are not selling, it's not because people are broke. Most of the time it's because you just don't know how to run the webinars correct. Because in order to make webinar work in 2026 and beyond, you need to factor much more things than just presentation. So if you struggle with making your webinars profitable, or you want to start webinars to scale your coaching business, watch this video until the end. Because currently in 2026, the best method to get as many clients as possible in the shortest period of time is actually doing webinars correct. So stay until the end. My name is Wojciech Dąbrowski. I built one of my agencies from 0 to 30K per month in few months, and I help coaches and consultants do six-figure launches with their webinars. And in this video, I'm going to share with you lessons I learned from my mentors, who are the best in the industry, and also from my personal experience working with info product clients. So if you're running webinars and you don't see the results you would like, pay attention, because most people in the coaching space completely misunderstand what the webinar actually is. They think webinar is a training. They think that a webinar is about giving value. They think if they teach everything they know, people will trust them and buy. And honestly, that's not how it works. A webinar is not a classroom. It's a controlled sales environment. To make a long story short, a webinar is not there to educate people into infinity. It is to move the people into a decision. That mindset shift alone changes everything about how you approach webinars. I've seen coaches getting 100 signups for the webinar and making 2 sales. And I've seen coaches getting 60 signups and close 15 clients for at least 5K offer. And the difference is not on the slides. The difference is the structure. Because most of the people run their webinars like a teachers. Step 1, step 2, step 3, more information, more frameworks, more detail. And at the very end, they casually say, by the way, here's my offer. And that is completely backwards. If someone can leave your webinar thinking, that was great, and I will try this on my own, you already lost. Because if someone leaves thinking, I finally understand why what I'm doing is not working, and I need the right system and help, that's when you win. Because that's a huge misunderstanding. People do not buy because they learned a lot. People buy because they feel clarity. They buy because they see the gap. So the difference between where they are and where they want to go when it comes to their business and their life. They buy because staying the same feels more painful than moving forward with your offer. That's it. Now let me break down what actually works in the webinar space in 2026. There are 3 main pillars to a webinar that consistently converts people. The first pillar is positioning before the webinar even starts. Selection. Not everyone should be in the room. If you invite everybody to your webinar, you convert nobody. Your messaging needs to speak to the specific ICP. ICP is an ideal customer profile. You need to speak about specific problem, the specific ambition, goal, desire that your target audience want to get to. So instead of focusing on getting as many people as possible in the webinar, you need to start with your messaging, attracting people that you actually can help. And you need to speak to them in their language. Because when the wrong people do not register, your conversion rate already goes up. So instead of having 1,000 random people, you get 200, but specific ICP with specific problem and specific desire that you can solve, you're ready to go. You will sell much more with that approach. And the second pillar is controlled tension during the webinar. You are not there to dump information. You are there to reframe their current strategy and approach. You showed them what they are doing, showed them why it's incomplete. You show them the hidden cost of them staying with the same strategies. You guide them into more awareness, you don't overwhelm them with tactics, and you introduce one specific mechanism that can solve the problem. One clear path and solution. That one solution that leads directly to your offer. And when it comes to sharing specific tactics, obviously there is a difference between selling to rich people and also to general public. Because general public tends to love getting more tactical stuff, some specific methods, mechanisms, but rich people, they value their time, so they don't want to see you for 3 hours explaining in detail specific process. They just want to see, okay, makes sense. Okay, let me book a call. Boom. Rich people value their time, so they are not interested in many different details. They just want to see if it actually makes sense on general level. With general public, you need to explain a little bit more. So with general public, show the tactics, show the methods, but with rich people, don't spend much time doing that. Test this, what I just said, and message me on IG or comment below. I want to see what happened after you implemented one of these strategies. And by the way, if you like the content, subscribe, like, and comment. And obviously make sure you follow my channel because you will get much more hot sauce that actually works when it comes to scaling info offers. The third pillar is a follow-up system. And honestly, this is the place where the most revenue is made, because the webinar ending is not the end of the sales process. It's the trigger. The real decision happens from 24 to 72 hours. So you need to make sure you have back-end selling systems at the right place. What do I mean specifically? Structured emails, clear deadlines, objection handling content, specific bonuses that create urgency to people to move faster, reminders that your offer is going to end, also about scarcity, urgency. So you use psychology biases. That's how it works. You repeat in the emails, in the content after the webinar, the core ideas. You also can share the replay of the webinar to some people that haven't been able to be on the webinar. And also one thing, when it comes to email, SMS, that's the huge component of success of webinar, and also show up rate. So how many people went to the webinar after registration? So also emails before the webinar, SMS messages before webinar are also very important to increase your chances of getting more clients from Webby. Because when we run six-figure launches, most of the money doesn't come from the live moment. It comes from the system before and after the webinar. And this is what amateurs do not understand. Now, zoom out. Webinars are one of the highest leverage sales system you can build. Why? Because it's one to many. You speak once to the hundreds or thousands of people, you influence many of them, and actually think about it. Compare that to DM selling. Compare that to random booking that come from your cold ads campaign. Webinar is one to many selling because it's actually one big sales call with hundreds or thousands of people. Do you feel that's more leverage to handle 100 sales calls one by one, or it's actually better to invite a couple hundred of your ICP and just pitch them on the webinar? I hope you see the point, because if not, you take responsibility of your business growth. So webinars, when done correctly and strategically, become money-making machine. The money is in the consistency and improving your skill of running profitable webinars. You build anticipation, authority, you refine your pitch, you get sharper every week. You check the data, you see your retention rate on webinar, you see open rates of your emails, show up rate, you see cost per registration, all of the details. And you can refine the strategy every week when you run cold webinar. And after mastering the webinars, your pipeline stops depending on luck. It becomes structured. Let me get straight to the point. Webinars are not magic. You still need a strong offer, you need clarity, you need communication skills, but if you have a good offer and you learn how to structure the event properly, webinars can completely change your coaching consulting business. You stop chasing, instead you start leading, you start controlling the demand. And also one additional thing, because I got asked this question, so I want to clarify. Still, if you pitch huge high ticket offer, let's say 10K plus at the end of the webinar, it doesn't mean people don't need to hop on the call with your salesperson. But what it means, in comparison to getting this prospect from cold ads, I mean targeting cold people, in comparison to sales call booked after watching 2 hours of your webinar, the close rate between these two people will be huge. Ask your sales team after doing webinar, what's the difference if they prefer to work with these cold people, or they prefer actually someone who watched your content for a few hours and actually interested to buy. So that's also a very important distinction I want to make. Also, it's much easier to close these kind of deals from webinars instead of cold leads. So if you're a coach or consultant in the high ticket space and you want to build predictable webinar machine for your business that provides you with actual revenue, check the link in the description. I will show you how we structure our launches, how we build them, how we promote them, and how we build follow-up structure that actually closes deals. Also, you can message me on IG, link in the description. I also post here about scaling to six-figure months with coaches and consultants in the high ticket space. To sum up the video, stop running webinars like a teacher trying to impress the room with in-detail knowledge. Start running them as a business owner, building the asset and actual system to generate profit. Because good information can impress, but structure and real system behind it converts people. Also, if you want, you can check one of my other videos about running profitable webinars, so you can click here and see different video about pitches on webinars and why most of the coaches approach that topic wrongly. So thank you for watching and see you on the next video.